Okay, what is up, everybody? It's time for Archontvwhat show V3 episode 4. This week we're probably going to talk about the whole Nintendo Switch possibly being investigated for patent infringement, which, if there's a case there, it could cause them to not be able to sell in the US. Um, what else is there this week? Uh, we're also going to talk about being able to actually fix your console on your own now instead of having to ship it into the manufacturer, since they're now being forced, console makers are being forced to remove the void warranty sticker. Like, if you ever try to take apart your machine, you'll have to take that off before you ever are able to get into the system itself to fix it. So yeah, so let's hop into it, I guess. Um, I guess the news is that a company called GameVice is suing Nintendo or kind of having them investigated because I guess they made a device that's similar to the Switch. And I guess with the Switch being popular after like a year or two of being released, they now want to sue them over it. I mean, what are your thoughts on that?
Well, I mean, if they're waiting this long to sue them, I don't know. I can't see there even too much of a case, but
Yeah. I mean, I guess it's official. They're being
um,
investigated for it. So I wonder what this will mean
yeah,
for
it seems like a setup. Like they
Yeah.
wait for them to get bigger, and then hey, you got money now. We're gonna see.
Yeah. I mean, Nintendo's always had money. I don't know why it would take them this long to sue Nintendo. I mean, do you think they would have
Oh,
done
they're
that at
suing
launch?
Nintendo.
Yeah. GameVice is suing Nintendo, or is saying that they are infringing on their patents here in the US. It's not really suing, I wouldn't say. It's just patent infringement.
Never even heard of game.
Yeah, I haven't either, but apparently it came out a couple of years ago or something, and it flopped miserably. Like, nothing worked for it.
Hmm.
I mean, what do you think it would do to Nintendo if they weren't allowed to sell over here in the US anymore?
I think it would destroy Nintendo
Uh,
because I'm pretty sure U.S. is one of their major sources
yeah, it's
for
one of the biggest markets out
marketing.
there.
But that being said, there's no way they're not gonna allow a Nintendo over here. I mean, I guess if you look at stuff as basic as in a Pokemon Go, I mean,
Yeah. I
it'll
mean,
cause a gamer riot.
yeah, I don't know what will necessarily happen there. I don't know if Nintendo would have to pay to use or pay to make the Switches or pay them royalties. You know what I mean, for using the patent. Or if Game Vice would even give them the ability to use the patent. I mean, they have a lot of power right now. If what goes through happens, like, and the US finds them in like federal, you know, patent infringement, Game Vice will probably have the power to potentially keep Nintendo out of the US for their game sales, or like I said, make royalties off of it. I mean, which one would
But
you choose if you were a
if
company like that?
Nintendo, I don't know, I'd probably choose royalties, but or a couple million.
That'd be the smart option, but you never know. I mean, it depends on how upset they are over
by,
Nintendo
by
supposedly.
the pat, patent and I mean, honestly, if I were them, I would just try to settle by selling the patent because if their games flop that bad, I mean, is there and their thing it's only because Nintendo came out and just took their patent.
Yeah. And I mean, Nintendo, this isn't the first time Nintendo's gotten in trouble for something like this.
Yeah.
Back when the Wii or whatever came out, I think it was either the Wii or the Wii U, they got in trouble for using the motion detection technology. Somebody tried to sue them over that too. So I
Well,
mean,
it's like Nintendo got to do their research on their patents and
yeah,
start cutting checks before this happened.
yeah. Agreed. It is crazy though that it's happening to like one of the bigger developers out there again. And I mean, it's over a
Like,
device that nobody probably even knew about. I hadn't even heard of Game Vice until just recently.
oh, it's just like PlayStation. That I'm sure they could have came up with a better browser years ago, but I, I mean, it probably had like similar things to Microsoft. That's why they didn't do anything with it.
No,
So
Sony.
they end up hiring Microsoft to do their browser for the new one. So I mean, it's like cutting the check before actually just going about it and doing it.
The Sony browser's in the shape it's in because Sony has already openly said they're not going to update it. They've already said that it's not worth it to them. This is a gaming console, it's not an entertainment console, whereas Microsoft paraded the Xbox One as an entertainment system, not a gaming system.
You hear that,
Sony,
guy? Sony said you're not supposed to be watching your porn on there.
well, I mean, it's still, I
Don't
think
do it.
it was the highest used system for that, also back in the day. I think it was like 2016. I remember watching something or a video about, I think it was the No, they were talking about it. Like I think it was PlayStation, then it was the Switch, and then the Switch. I don't know, the Switch overtook everything at the end, but I don't know. I wish Sony would update the web browser. It would be nice to actually have a fully functioning browser that doesn't require
Oh no, yeah, they just had that web browser with the Sony's keyboard. I mean, when you think about that, obviously, the Xbox probably has a better web browser, but I just do not like using the keyboard on the Xbox.
I don't like the
Too much
Xbox UI.
side scrolling.
Yeah, I don't like the Xbox UI not one bit. I think it's junk. But that's just my opinion on it. I thought the 360s was way easier to navigate, and the Xbox One's just all over the place. So I like the PS4 as well. The UI is just easy. There's no hard to navigate areas. The menus are simple. Everything's just there for you.
Yeah,
So yeah.
I mean, I guess Sony just has so many products. I mean, they probably be like, "Hey, just buy one of our computers."
Is
Just not
Sony
do
still
that.
in the computer business? I thought they got out of that. Like they also got out of the TV business as well. At least that's what I
I don't
heard.
know.
I heard they were cutting down their
It's like
products because they were losing money. But again, that was a couple
Sony.
years ago.
Sony's just into pretty much. I think it's just movies and games right now.
Yeah, I heard that they actually plan on or not re-releasing, but releasing another PSP, which is really interesting because they had the Vita, which was a great system for handheld at the time, and they let it die because they said that there was no market for handheld. And then of course the Switch comes out and proves them completely wrong on that.
No market for handheld. Like
No,
I know people that are still buying the 3DS.
yeah, that was a mistake on Sony's part. They
Right.
had such a good system for handheld, and they just let it die. They killed it.
I
Had
think they should bring the PSP Vita back, but I mean, obviously now they could. I mean, if they did that, they could just straight up have it mirror your console.
yeah, I mean they had the ability to do crossplay on the PS4 to the Vita or the Vita to the PS4. Like they had all that stuff. It was supposed to be this big companion thing to the PS4 when it launched, and they just got rid of it. Said there was no market for it and killed it. Like Sony has made a lot of
Like,
questionable decisions over the past couple of years when it comes to stuff like that.
who wouldn't want to play GTA under out at a doctor's office or something? You know?
No. I would say it's about as questionable as like kind of like what Nintendo did when they re-released or not re-released. I don't know why I keep saying that. Why they when they released the Wii U? I guess you could say they technically re-released the Wii because that's all it was an updated Wii with a tablet. So, you can kind of say that. But yeah, Sony has just not been on the ball when it comes to stuff like that. And
Yeah,
honestly, if we hear a PS5 announcement this year at E3 next month,
it's supposed to be for
uh,
2020.
That's what it's rumored, but if you hear it for either next year or the end of this year, people are going to be very upset because they
Well,
launched the
everyone just
Pro.
had to buy the Pro. Yeah,
Yeah,
everyone just had to buy the Pro, and then after buying the Pro, realized they need USB 2.0 or they need HDMI 2.0 cables
well, I
because
mean,
now they're all gonna go buy those, and then they're gonna come out with a 5, and who knows what that's gonna have.
I bet you that'll have 4K in it.
Yeah,
I
probably
mean,
gonna need US HDMI 2.0 also.
well, yeah, I mean the Pro itself
Which
doesn't reach 4K natively. It's up-res resolution, which is one of the big things that people were complaining about. Whereas the Xbox One, I think, is just native 4K. I don't know why. And then Sony also got away from allowing you to play Ultra Blu-ray discs. They don't allow that in the Pro. The Xbox One has it though, which is
yeah, I
really
mean,
interesting.
I think my opinion is a DVD, Blu-ray, anything disc is probably gonna fizzle out, and people are gonna still buy them because they're cheaper for now. But as soon as you start getting better deals, like for download,
Mhm.
I mean, what's the point of buying a disc when you have it on your cloud for the rest of your life? You know?
Yeah. What's up, Monster Hunter? Yeah, caught the show. Right now, we're just kind of like talking about, I guess, PS4. Right now, we were talking about Nintendo's patent infringement with Game Vice, but they
Yeah,
decided I don't know what's gonna happen with that. If it goes through, like, and it's found that Nintendo is infringement, then they won't be able to sell here in the U.S. And then we just kind of ended up talking about the PS4 and that, and the PS5 when it comes out, or the release date for that,
I think
or
Nintendo needs to
speculation.
start doing the research and cutting checks before this kind of things happen.
Yeah.
I mean, Nintendo's a big enough company where they can afford to cut some checks to for patent.
See, and because I think they're based in Japan, so they don't check what the infringement or what the patents are here in the US, I don't think, before they launch these systems.
Yeah, well, it's a public website.
Well, it's a publicly traded company in that too, so yeah.
Like you can
Globally
check
traded
the
company.
name,
Yeah, I don't know. Like this is the
U.S.
second
Patent
time.
Office.
Yeah, this is the second time that this has happened to them over two consoles. Like you would believe, and Nintendo's just in a rough spot right now. Honestly, I wouldn't doubt it if they were, and Game Vice decides not to go with the royalty check or to buy out the patent, and just prevents them from putting their consoles here in the US. I really wouldn't doubt it. With the way Nintendo's luck has been, I mean, the Switch, while it sold amazingly well for its first year, has been riddled with issues like storage space, being able to save to the system itself. I actually saves to your cartridges instead, like the old GBA used to. Um, the exploit that we talked about last week, where people are able to
Why
just
is this?
break
Why
in
does this
and
sound like Dreamcast?
I don't know. Did Dreamcast have
Because
all
you
those
remember
issues?
Dreamcast. No, Dreamcast is saved to your controller.
Oh yeah, your memory stick. Well, the
I mean,
64 did the same
what's the
thing.
what's yeah? What's the difference between that and saving to your cartridge like on a Game Boy?
Yeah.
Like
I mean, that last point
I
they
found
or
many Game Boy cartridges with people's fully saved games on them, not knowing where it belongs
well, I mean, I don't
to.
think you actually saved it to your controller. I think you saved it to a memory stick that's in the that you could take out, if I remember right.
Yeah,
I mean, that's no different than the memory card. It wasn't until the PS3 and the Xbox 360 where you were. Well, actually, Xbox had a built-in memory system. I know the GameCube didn't. The GameCube and the PS2 were still using memory cards around that time. I think the Xbox was the first one to ever get rid of memory cards for a hard drive.
it's gonna be crazy when if Samsung decides to get into the game consoles.
They're being investigated for, I think, SD cards or something because they cut the product, like how much they were making, and then tried to raise the price up on it. Like they were in conspiracy with grouping up with a bunch of people over it,
Hmm.
like pro or makers or whatever, and they got together and they decided to limit their uh I'm not. It's not quality. It's the other quantity. And then they jack the price up
Well,
on them to make market demand high.
well, good news is you if you want to make your own system, apparently just buy a Nintendo Switch and they give you full rights to open up that sticker and do whatever you want inside there.
Well, it's not even that at that point. Like Nintendo already gives you the ability to do that if you hack it. I mean, that's what the thing I was talking about before. Like the third thing that was wrong with Nintendo since the Switch has come out. That big news story that we covered last week.
Yeah, but now you can broadcast it now that they're like, all right, you just open up the warranty sticker.
Well, that's the U.S. I
Like
think
this,
the
this is what
U.S. is
I do
forcing
now.
that.
DIY Super Nintendo.
Yeah, they said.
Actual-
Well, it was a U.S. ruling because they had said that it was against the law to make it to where only they could, or the console makers could work on your system. And that's where the
I
whole
don't
issue came
understand how
from.
that's against the law. I mean, it was just you could still work on your system. It's just they had nothing to do with you at that point.
Well, it's because back then, like I said, you couldn't, if you took that sticker off, you voided your warranty. You couldn't send it in anymore. You couldn't do any of this for free. You know what I mean? You had to pay. And they decided
Now
that,
you can just give it a go and be like, "Oh, I screwed up. I'm gonna send it in," and then that's what's gonna
yeah.
mess with a lot of the intermediaries, like the warranty, the people doing their warranties. That's probably what they don't like about it. It's like, shoot, if this was professionally done, they they wouldn't be missing their freaking RAM chips.
Well, the problem is that I guess it's that there's a monopoly on it. The government ruled that you cannot be the only one that can fix your console. You cannot be the only company out there that can work on your console.
I like that. Gives room for small time people that know what they're doing to set up a little shop somewhere.
That too. It opens up another job area for you. But yeah,
I
that's the whole
remember
deal about it.
in Michigan, there's the old Nintendo Bobs. They did pretty well for a while.
They're gone.
They were fixing everyone's console. Well, yeah, now I'm not. Who knows why?
Just probably
Apparently,
just went out
everyone
of
would have called
business.
them within the whole county area. I
Yeah.
need my PlayStation fixed. There's a yellow light, death, and my red ring.
Yeah, I don't know. Like it's a big deal though. I mean, this means that you can go in and actually work on your system if you want to, like swap out the hard drive, clean the fan in it. You couldn't even clean the fan on the PS4 without removing the void warranty sticker. Now you can go in and clean your fan and not have to worry about, oh no, if something goes wrong, if something gets broken, my warranty's gone. But now if it gets messed up, you can still send it in, worst case scenario. And the warranty will still be covered. It's a big step for consumers.
Sir, how'd you get an i7 GPU in here?
Yeah, I wouldn't go around messing with any of that stuff. Like, I don't know if it'd even run it.
I'm sure you could tweak it a little.
I mean, the Switch you could probably tweak a little, but that's about it. Because, I
Yeah.
mean, the Switch you can run Linux on right now. Like, it's bad for Nintendo. It's really bad. Like, I don't know where they're going to go from here or what they're going to do. They're actually probably going to need to make another console or make an upgraded version of the Switch that gets rid of that exploit. Because online gaming for them is just dead at this point because everybody's going to be able to cheat. Everybody's going to be able to download mods.
Well, it's like that for PC anyways, but
It is, but
the
Nintendo doesn't typically cross-platform. Nintendo's always kept to itself.
Fortnite on the Switch.
I don't know if that's coming out or not. It was rumored, but
Might as well they have it for handheld, but
yeah.
I can't see. I can't see for. I can't see you playing very well mobile versus if you're cross counseling.
My cousin can do it pretty well.
Hmm?
But yeah.
I'd have to try the controls on that, but I mean, with when I'm using a controller, I know I can turn around, I can aim pretty fast, and
Yeah.
can't imagine you'd be able to do it as fast without a controller or keyboard or mouse in front of you.
Yeah, I'm not sure how all that works. I'd imagine you just swipe. So, Monster Hunter, anything you wanna like hear about in the last 5 minutes, or any news you wanna hear talked about? And then we'll go ahead and we'll close out the show on that. While I wait out the 15-second delay. So, you're getting Sony Vegas, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Speaking of Sony products,
Yep.
Sony's good for motion pictures and game consoles. I want to go for the motion picture side now.
So hopefully
I mean,
the
if you have
quality.
any suggestions on what kind of editing software to use, I mean, I've used Final Cut before. Adobe's kind of
uh,
expensive with their monthly
Monthly.
fees.
Yeah.
I like to be able to buy something for like a couple $100 and just have it. Not have
Yeah.
to worry about it.
I've used Pinnacle and I've used Corel before. Both were pretty decent. Like Pinnacle, I think was a lot better than Corel. Corel was more basic, whereas Pinnacle was more not quite. I wouldn't say advanced, but not bad.
Hmm.
So hopefully the okay. So hopefully the quality of the editing in the show goes up, and my Sunday videos will also go up because I'm hoping to be able to get a license as well with it. Hoping it comes with two. Well, that's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got nothing, so I really don't know where else to go from here. I mean, outside of like God of War selling like 3.1 million copies already, and it launched at 420, so that's pretty big. It's not
Right.
bad.
So I remember staying up the other night playing God of War, getting the cow costume and having a limited amount of for the next.
You mean the harpy kill?
Yeah.
It sounded like a
Oh
dying
god.
pig. Holy crap!
Yeah, they had that glitch where you could just
Infinite.
spam a harpy into the corner and get unlimited red orbs.
Yep.
Uh,
Oh, that
but
was
I,
amazing.
I had to turn my volume off. It sounded like someone
Yeah,
was getting like raped or something.
that was bad. Like it was terrible. But yeah,
Didn't we leave that on to walk to the store and I had it taped to the controller?
yeah, we just taped the X button down or whatever. That was good times though.
That's how you used to grind in games. You just figure out the glitch and you find the right amount of tape on your controller and walk away.
Tape a penny to it, or just tape the button down.
See, now you got all these mobile games and stuff that you just press autoplay. But still, I don't know if I like autoplay features.
Uh, yeah, I mean it's kind of interesting. God of War did sell as well as it did too, because people had that thing like dead on arrival, from what I remember, because they didn't like the whole escorting the boy around or whatever. Kratos' son. I don't know if he's really Kratos' son or not, or whoever it is.
Yeah,
But
yeah, it
yeah,
kind of makes me want to play through the rest of them again. I mean, the first couple I've already played 100 times, but
yeah.
I still didn't play the one where you're supposed to run up to Olympus and just murder everything.
Oh, three.
Yeah,
It's got a remaster for the PS4 you can find. But yeah.
that might be what I could use my Elgato for.
Yeah, that's one thing you could do, single player. Oh, by the way, Monster Hunter, in case you were wondering, like, I didn't put in the title, but I finally got around to, like, updating the channel a bit. So if you look underneath our video, like, you'll be able to see, like, the YouTube, the Twitter, all that, like, direct links to the Discord and everything. So, I also decided to finally throw in a donate button. As much as I wasn't sure if I really wanted to do that now or wanted to wait until I was partnered, but
No, I think all that little stuff helps.
yeah.
You just gotta get you an interface to make it look cooler.
Well, I need some software for that.
I don't know. We just used Microsoft Paint to make one.
Yeah. But like it says in the bottom,
For
like
game.
or like I put down in the bottom, just I don't want any viewer out there to feel like they like ever have to donate or be forced to donate or anything like that. Like if you just want to help out the stream, throw me or throw some money towards it, then just do that. If you're not, then that's fine too. Just you want to just enjoy it for free, that's what I'm here for. I mean, I'll
Yeah.
probably put in donation incentives at some point, as well as like follow incentives, like I did before with the FF9 speedrun, and like the viewer incentives in that. Okay, cool.
Yeah, but
Yeah, I just wanted to also throw that out there for anybody who watches on the YouTube side of it or watches on the Twitch side of it, that's down there.
yeah, we're not really pushing it so much right now, but
No.
every little bit helps. We're gonna try to get this up and running, and
Well, our goal now, I guess, is in a couple months to try to move to California or try to figure something out, and we'll have a sound studio and that set up with music and whatnot. So I'm just trying to get something going beforehand, so it's the easiest
I think
option. Of course, it's PayPal only. I don't allow credit cards just because people can like troll you and whatnot with buyback and that. Or not buyback, but challenging the charge on the card and that.
maybe a crypto wallet address.
You can't put a crypto wallet address in.
All that.
It's only PayPal, credit card, some other weird websites I've never heard about. Oh yeah. I've officially gone to
Yeah,
sellout
they got
status.
pizza on there.
Huh?
I don't think they got pizza on there. With pizza, you can transfer any funds into Bitcoin, but
I don't think so. You'd
I
have to
love
look in the
Bitcoin.
Streamlabs. I don't think that's there. One more thing. Like, I plan on changing the Twitch channel. Like, it's not gonna change like the name altogether. Like, I'm gonna change it to Archontvwhat underscore Archon underscore Toonami. So if you see that in the name change, that's me, obviously. I was gonna change my name. I've been talking about it for a while, but I don't. I think as long as I just put Archontvwhat, like, I don't think anybody's gonna do anything about it. I mean, there are streamers out
Yeah.
there that have clips of other things that are and like pictures of other things that are like related to anime and that, and they don't get in trouble, so I'm not too worried about it. I'd have to be like a really big streamer in order to get in trouble for anything, so not worried about it.
Right now, we're also partnered with a new streamer. We have Tone Star. He's a Fortnite player,
Yeah,
but who knows what he's gonna play after that? But
not a big
right
Fortnite
now, we
player,
got
just a Fortnite player.
yeah. Apparently, he killed a big streamer at one point.
Anyway, let's I guess go out and close the show. I was gonna talk about 15, like Final Fantasy 15, but if I talk about that game, it's gonna be forever. I'm gonna talk about that game because that ending was just terrible. It was I like I don't think I'm
Sorry.
spoiling anything because it's been out for 2 years already. So if you haven't played it yet, like Monster Hunter, like let me know in the chat before I talk about it. If not, we'll just close the show out. Doesn't matter. I don't want to spoil anything for you if you ever planned on playing it, but I mean, there's been a lot of backlash about the ending on the internet and whatnot. I mean, I wanted to see what all the hype was about because people like thought the game was really good going in through most of it, and then it just at the end, everybody kind of got upset about the ending.
Well, it seemed like you were into it until after the Hydra. The next thing I know, you call it, you're like, this is BS.
Yeah, the Leviathan fight was pretty cool. I mean, I thought it was great. I mean, there was no extra like summons or anything to use, which was really weird. There was only like 6 of them, and they were all storyline related, and you couldn't get them out of like any extra out of the storyline, to my knowledge, anyway. I mean, there's a lot of like extra stuff I got to take care of. Okay, but yeah, like the first like 1 through 9 chapters are open world fun. Like if you've stopped in and watched any of those streams, you'll know what I'm talking about. Like the hunts, there was a bunch of stuff you could do. And then like you go to the water area where you fight Leviathan. I can't think of the town now, but they introduced this weird little time warp mechanic, which to me makes no sense because why would you time warp back to Lucius when you could just ride the boat back across the lake? And at that point, I knew the game was going to start having issues because they're throwing in random things that make no sense. Like later on in the game, it makes sense because you end up with like a 10-year time warp. Having the time warp to go back to Lucius then makes sense. But hey, at the end of the game, it feels like they ripped out Resident Evil 6 and decided to put that in the game at some point. I don't know. The tone just changes. It gets rid of the open world element and it just seems bad. I don't know. It's the only thing it reminds me of is RE6, like running around in those small little labyrinth areas.
Yeah, I try to run Wesker.
Yeah.
That's like, alright, I'm at a cutscene. I'm gonna go use the bathroom. Holy crap, I'm gonna die.
Oh yeah, and then they have the quick time events. I don't necessarily mind in this game as much. They didn't have any like mashing quick time where you actually had to like break your fingers off like 6 did at the end. That one was terrible. That one was horrible. Like you could actually just mash the button and still die.
Yep.
Because the game just didn't read that you were mashing or something. I don't know what it was. It was like buggy. It's the only thing I can think of. And it was like 5 minutes long too, which was the weirdest thing about it. But yeah, and then at the very end, it's another one of those Final Fantasy games where like 10, where Tidus disappears at the end of 10, the main hero, and they ended up trying to fix it in 10-2 by making a perfect ending where he comes back. Now they're working on Season 2 for DLC, which I don't know why the DLC for this game also like really frustrated me because there's elements in the game or times in the game where like certain people in your party will leave. Like Gladio, I think leaves before you go to the Vesper Wood or the Vesper Pool. Sorry, not the Vesper Wood. And you like let him go and whatnot. His DLC covers when he leaves to when he comes back. Why couldn't you just have that in the main story? And then Ignis has the same thing where something happens to him during the Leviathan fight, and his story covers what happens to him during that fight and why he ends up the way he does. It's like, really? And then I'm sure Prompto's covers what happens after he falls off the train. They just didn't have enough ending. I don't know. It's just so frustrating to think about. Like, they just didn't have enough content. Honestly, probably not because they're doing it in DLC story modes instead of doing a 15-2 altogether. There's a chance for it. I mean, 10.3's in the talks right now. I mean, with the audio, like, special bonus audio that the 10.2 remaster and 10 remaster came with. But I doubt they'll do a 15-2. They're just trying to clear everything up in Season 2. For what I understand, it's supposed to be one more multiplayer thing. I'm trying to think. I don't know if the ending is its own separate thing. Because they're going to redo the ending, I guess. They're going to give them an alternate ending for whatever reason. I guess it's the good ending. Whatever that means. And then Noctis is getting his own episode. I think that's it for Season 2, and then hopefully that's it for the game.
They should make an open world Full Metal Alchemist. That'd be sick.
Yeah. But anyway, like, FF15 had all the potential in the world to be a great game. Like, the first 9 chapters, perfectly fine. I mean, it has open world aspects to it. It has a bunch of exploring, quick travel, which is nice. There are some areas you can't quick travel to, but you have to ride around in the car for 6 minutes. That kind of seemed tedious. It also has the ability to listen to like older Final Fantasy soundtracks, which I thought was absolutely amazing. There are some tracks missing though that I would like to hear, like Birth of a God from FF7. They do have One Winged Angel though. I think 10 was missing its opening track as well. A couple other games like Dissidia. They also have the Dissidia soundtrack, which blew my mind. Because I mean, I wouldn't really consider Dissidia as a mainline Final Fantasy to actually go out of your way and import the soundtrack for the remixes. I mean, there was a lot there for the opening, and then just by the end, you could tell they ran out of development time, would be my guess, because I believe the game was supposed to come out September 28th, and literally the 26th, they pushed it back to October. So 2 days before launch, they had to push it back another month or two. It might have been in November it launched.
Like, this game looks awesome. Wait a second, we forgot to finish it.
Pretty much. Like, from what I understand, Nomura got taken off the project to go work on KH3, which I don't think he's working on anymore either. I think he's working on the FF7 remake. Tabata got put on the project to finish it, and from what I understand, they had to go back and fix and remove a bunch of stuff, and they only really had like 2 years of development time out of the 10 that was already there. They had to waste 10 years of development time, and you know what I mean, only had 2 to fix everything. So you can tell it shows, like especially at the end, like they had a world of ruin like FF6 did. FF6 had a world of balance and a world of ruin, where basically the world of balance is just your normal like world where you play through for the most part, and then at a certain point something happens and the world ends up getting borderline destroyed, and you end up in the world of ruin. Well, the world of ruin in 6 has a bunch of different places you can go back to and explore, because when the world gets destroyed, it opens up a bunch of areas. You got to recruit all your party members and whatnot. Whereas 15, their world of ruin, you wake up in a desolate like area that you were before. I think it's Gal Coast or something like that. I can't think of what it is, or Key or something. And you can see like all the destruction from what's happened over the 10 years that Noctis has been gone and the darkness has taken over. And all you do is basically walk towards the road, get in the car, head to the Hammerhead shop where you're originally the game starts, and then find out like in an exposition dump that the kid that you seen at the start is now 10 years older. Obviously, he's the one that's driving you. He tells you everything and updates you about the situation in the world. You find out about a lot of the characters through him, and he just explains to you what happens. Like I think it's Iris. Iris becomes a great demon hunter, which you don't even see her anymore. What else is there? I think Arianea is with her, and they're killing demons. Sid ends up in Lestalem. Everybody ends up in Lestalem because that's the only safe place. And once you get to Hammerhead, you basically go out the gate. There's nothing to do in Hammerhead, by the way. It's just there as a placeholder, so you can have a home base to run to for half a second before you end up going back to Insomnia, your hometown, which you've been trying to fight to get back into this whole time. You end up back in Insomnia, and there's nothing to do there either. It's just straight linear story up until the end. There's no special events in Insomnia, no special events in Hammerhead, in the World of Ruin. It's just wasted. Like, why even have the World of Ruin if you're not going to add more content to it to allow people to explore? Like, add hunts to it or something, you know? Well, it's just a wasted idea. Just like the Lake City was. The Lake City was also a wasted idea. Like, you can't explore anywhere outside the map. You can only explore in the center and then maybe to the upper right a little bit. Like I said, if I talk about this, I'm gonna rant for a long time. It's sad, really, is what it is. I hope Kingdom Hearts 3 doesn't suffer the same thing in November when it launches. I got a bad feeling that KH3 is gonna go the same way. And then the FF7 remake's also in shambles. So I don't know. It's gonna be a rough couple of years for Square Enix, especially if Kingdom Hearts 3 doesn't get received very well. Because they've already announced that they basically went back and scrapped everything they had for the FF7 remake and are now redoing it again from scratch. So that means the E3 trailer we seen 2 years ago, gone. I don't like. I think a lot of the problem with Square is that they announce their games way too soon, and then when the demand gets too high, it causes the company to panic and try to rush out a product that's not finished. That and like stock investors want them to do it because they know it'll make them a bunch of money because it's a name now. So it puts a lot of pressure on them. Whereas if they were to not announce their games right away, maybe announce some like small time games that you don't need a bunch of or time to finish. That's not a mainline Final Fantasy or Kingdom Hearts game. You know,
Crystal Chronicles.
you could do a side story Crystal Chronicles again. Yeah, that would work. I mean, that's something that I'm sure some people might find interesting enough. And then you're not ruining your main game. Like at this point, I'm expecting like a Final Fantasy every year is what it's eventually going to come down to, or Kingdom Hearts every year. Like I don't know, it's just frustrating to watch. Like it's one of my favorite game series, Final Fantasy. I pretty much grew up playing it. I think my first one was 6, which was technically 3 here in the US. And then I played 7 on the PlayStation and kind of went back and revisited some of the other ones in between. It's just really sad to see a game that could have been like one of the greatest Final Fantasies out there completely ruined because they just ran out of time and didn't want to work, or didn't have time to work rather. What do you think, Zach? I know you don't really play a lot of Final Fantasy, but
Yeah, I haven't really played too much, but I mean, if they were to come out, that'd be an interesting way to get into the battle royale genre. Yeah.
yeah, there ain't no way.
Final Fantasy battle royale.
I highly doubt that that would ever happen. Like Square just, I don't think would ever have the ability for that. I mean, they have 14, which you could say, I guess. I don't know if there's any PvP in 14, but you could say that's pretty much about it, if there is. Yeah, ever since they merged with Enix, it's just been downhill for them. Like, 12 was poorly received. I thought 12 was okay. It was a bit grindy, but it was, well, it was okay. 13 obviously was horribly received because the game basically played itself for the most part. 13.2 nobody wanted, but they were trying to fix the ending to 13 where people were missing, so they had to come up with a reason for that, and then they killed Sarah off. Like, I don't know what their obsession is with killing the main hero off all of a sudden. It gets them in trouble. It really does, because people don't want that. Like, I know it's a Japanese trope. It happens in anime too a lot where the main hero will die, or it used to happen a lot. Nowadays, it's not as prevalent as what it once was. And at the end of 13.3, from what I haven't actually like played the game. That's the one I didn't play because I just was done with 13 by that point. I seen the ending and it was really weird to me. I still can't wrap my mind around what happened. It was really weird. Like, she somehow ended up in Paris, I think is what it was. I was so confused. Apparently something happens, her world gets destroyed or something, and then it just comes into our world or something. I don't even know. Like, they were just way off point. So yeah. Basically, final verdict, it's just a quick game review. 15 I thought was great to start with. It's good open world. I'll be finishing the side quests on Mondays. So that'll be the fishing and that'll also be the hunts and whatnot. And then I'll probably never play it again. Like, there's no replayability to it like there is in the other games. I mean, they added a Royal Edition, which it's hilarious. The Royal Edition that came out for PC, it actually gives you, from what I understand, a direct path to the final boss from the start of the game. Why? Why is that a thing? Like, that is just the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard. You're supposed to play the game to enjoy the story, but if you're going straight to the climactic end, you're not gonna know how you got there. Yo, Zach, mute that now. mute that now, because I'm not gonna get YouTube copyright striked for this. But
It was playing in the background for 5 seconds. Get
yeah,
up.
pretty much. But yeah, like I said, and then FF7, what I said before, there was also, they wanted to make it better than the original FF7. Like, how are you going to try to remaster a game or remake a game from the ground up that's better than the original when people just want the original? Like, that's all we want. It's just an original with upgraded graphics. Like, you did it with 10.2 and 10, and nobody complained about the turn-based system either in those games, did they? That wasn't one of the things that was complained about. It's just frustrating.
Because to me, that's what Final Fantasy was the turn-based system.
It redefined it, and I mean, Persona 5. Oh, okay. I'll cover that after, yeah. I mean, like, Persona 5 proved that turn-based games are not dead. It was almost Game of the Year quality. I don't know what.
Those are the biggest games on mobile, turn-based games.
I think Horizon Zero Dawn beat out Persona 5. But yeah. I don't get it. Like, they want to get away from turn-based systems. They don't want to have them in their games. They think that they're boring and people don't want to play them. It's just, it's what built Square up. I don't know. Like if you make a 7 remake or a remaster or whatever, you should need to have a turn-based system in there.
That's kind of why
100%.
I was saying they should do battle royale at this point because it's not turn based anymore. It's just pretty much open world run around.
Well, I don't know
I mean,
what.
what makes that any different than I don't know playing Infamous or something? You know, Infamous, you got like cool powers.
Well, honestly, it's
Or
because
if
it's.
you get, even then, I mean, there's a good story, I guess, with Final Fantasy, but I mean, you could play um, Skyrim and stuff, and I feel like you would have a lot more to do and have a lot more fun playing that.
I don't know. Like, I personally never liked Skyrim's combat system. That's my whole hold up with that game. I
I
mean,
can find
15
it.
isn't quite Skyrim level. It's more Kingdom Hearts. They made it more Kingdom Heartsy than anything else. But yeah, like I said,
Because
like
I know Skyrim had its bugs, so
yeah.
I remember somehow I ended up on top of the map,
Mhm.
and I had to reload to like a different save because I couldn't stop being on top of the map.
Yeah. Well, hopefully next month we get some more information from Square about some of what they're doing outside of just the 15 season 2 cuz I guarantee you that'll be there 100% as a trailer at some point during the show for Sony, covering like what they're going to re-release or what they're going to try to release for story content. Yeah, that would be Actually, I guess you could technically say that the city is a MOBA, right? Massive
Hmm?
Online Battle Arena.
Yeah,
I mean, the city is technically 3-on-3 combat. There's no objectives, or well, actually, yeah, technically, I don't know.
what's an objective?
I mean, you could
Kill
call it a MOBA.
him. Kill the other team. I mean,
Yeah,
that's still an objective right there.
yeah,
Kind of gets isn't that's one of those games that kind of gets people used to the ability systems and stuff like a lot of games like League of Legends and stuff have.
yeah. Okay, let's go ahead and close out the
So,
show. We're running on 50 minutes here, and if
too much editing.
well, it's
We
not too
close
much
out the show,
editing.
but I would
It's
want to keep going.
well, I mean,
I mean,
if you're not
I'm down to
100%
keep
getting
talking.
Vegas, like, are you 100% getting Vegas? Because if it goes over an hour, I can't put the show on ShareFactory
Oh
and
no,
edit.
I'm getting something today. Don't worry about it.
Okay, like I don't want to go
I'm
over
not
an
sure if
hour
it's
and
Vegas, but I'm looking up suggestions like on us Facebook. A bunch I
yeah,
posted on Facebook. Hopefully, Ben or someone gets back to me like, "Hey, you should try this." Because I've
yeah.
been running Final Cut for years, and I don't know. I don't want to break out the old Mac that I had to rebuild.
Well, that and I think I gotta get going here anyway. Here in a little bit, I might be going to the store, so that's another reason why I wanted to close it now before 6:30, 7 o'clock. But
All right.
yeah, we'll just close it out for now, just in case you something goes wrong or some crazy thing happens. That way I can still edit it if need be.
Yeah.
Well, hopefully you
But
enjoyed our
let's
ranting.
get.
Huh? What were you gonna say?
Yeah. I was gonna say, plus it's gonna be a huge file to send over.
Yeah, that too. But hopefully you enjoyed our ranting and that. Like I said, if I talked about Final Fantasy, I knew I was gonna rant because it's just been a rough couple years to be a fan for that series and franchise and whatnot. Like hopefully, like I said, we get good news next month with like Kingdom Hearts as well. We get good news there. We get good news with FF7 remake, and it's not a total mess. Like it's actually playable, and it's not this ridiculous. Like if they would just go back to turn-based for it, that would be fine. That's what I want. And the people who sit there and say, "Well, if you want to play turn-based, just go play the original." The whole point is that it's a remake, so it's supposed to be based around the original. Update the
You mean
graphics,
the
update the story, make it more.
original where you needed like 3 different discs, and if you pop the disc out at the right time, you can go. You can do some crazy
What do you
stuff.
got going on over there? That's like loud.
Thing. Oh no,
Yeah.
Dad's making smoothies.
Oh.
I was like, all right.
But yeah, like just give us the original Square. Just give us the original updated with a story that's actually coherent, like updated enough to where people understand what's going on. Because 7's story was pretty broken due to all the mistranslations. Just give us that. That's all we want. With the combat system and whatnot of the original. It won't hurt. I mean, Persona 5 has proven that turn-based games are still a thing. You can still get away with doing them. It won't kill your product. I mean, you've made games like 13, which wasn't exactly turn-based, and that killed your product because there was no thinking involved. The game had an autoplay function. That's why your product failed. And nobody could attach themselves to any of the characters. Because the story was just too out there. Like, it was all bloated and random and whatever. Like I said, just give us a turn-based Final Fantasy VII. We'll be happy. Anyway, let's go ahead and finish closing the show here. I don't think I have much to plug. Just I guess I'll reiterate. The Anime Corner, or the Archontvwhat show anime recommendation of the week, as it's going to be called from here on. It's a mouthful, I know. But for now, we'll be on the YouTube. It's a YouTube exclusive now. So if you're looking for that, it'll be there Wednesday or Tuesday night. Be sure to look that up. Last week I did Full Metal Panic. This week I'm not really sure what I'm going to go with quite yet. I'm still kind of thinking about it. Obviously, all the stuff has been updated underneath the channel. So if you guys are looking for the Discord, the YouTube, the Twitter, trying to think of my co-host here, I put his channel on there. I didn't put Tone Stars yet, but I might put a link to his as well. Obviously, the donate button's at the very bottom. So, but anything else you want to plug?
That's about it. So check us out, Archontvwhat and Tone Star. We'll end up getting links up. And see you next time.
Okay, that's my co-host Sir Fatnuts. Yeah. So for Archontvwhat show, Volume 3, Episode 4, I'm Archon Tsunami, and we'll see you guys next week. What's up, everybody? Archon Tsunami here, bringing you the Archontvwhat anime recommendation of the week. I can't think of a better time to recommend Yu Yu Hakusho. It's coming up on its 25th anniversary. And for that anniversary, we're getting 2 OVA episodes. And in case you don't know, an OVA is an original video animation. And in some cases, they're just 15-minute shorts. In other cases, they're actual full-length episodes. And normally what they're used for is to celebrate like
and for those
major
watching
events.
On YouTube, be sure to stick around
just to give the fans something, you know.
Recommendation of the
they're
week.
not canon in most
See you in a
cases.
second.
Very rarely they are used to bridge the gap between seasons on shows. So if a character in a show you're watching for season 2 has a different appearance or a different ability, and you can't figure out like what happened, in most cases there's an OVA that will explain what happened. So you'll have to find that. And in some cases they don't get dubbed right away. That's also a really sad fact of dubs. But some shows are good about it and they get them taken care of right away so fans aren't missing anything. Anyway, let's hop into characters. Yusuke Urameshi is the main focus. He is a junior high school student when the show first starts. He tends to get in fistfights with people and his teachers don't really like him. And his mother's not really there for him either. And you learn more about his father later on in the series, so I won't spoil anything there. He has a friend named Keiko who looks out for him, and he kind of picks on her, you know, skirt flipping, stuff like that, like childish 90s stuff and what have you, and he just kind of blows her off. She's just trying to help him get through junior high. She will have like more impact on the show as it goes on. But at first, she's just kind of written in as, you know, somebody who's trying to keep Yusuke in line. Kuwabara is one of those people that he fights with a lot. He's a rival and eventually becomes Yusuke's friend. Hiei, he eventually joins Yusuke for the Dark Tournament arc, as well as Kurama. They're both demons, and they're both from separate cases that happen early on, and you get a little bit of their story as those arcs go on. I think that's it for like major characters. I guess you could also say Koenma. since he's the one who's in charge of the detective agency for the spirit world, and he's the one that gives Yusuke a second chance at life. I guess also Botan, who is the or not advisor, but somebody who works under Koenma, and she works to help. I guess I think she's a spirit witch. I think is what she's called. I could be wrong on that. For some reason, that's what comes to mind. I don't know why. But anyway, she looks over Yusuke and kind of reports to Koenma what he's doing and the cases that he works on. Anyway, like I said, let's get into story. As I said before, Yusuke dies. He gets hit by a car, obviously. That's how he gets revived. He's saving a boy who's in traffic. He pushes him out of the way, and because it wasn't Yusuke's time to die, they gave him a second chance at life. And Botan gives him an egg, which is a rebirth egg if positive energy is like put into it. Whereas if negative energy is put into it, something will come out of it and eat Yusuke, and then he'll go to hell and stay there for all eternity. Um, that's just how that works. Obviously, he ends up putting positive energy into it and revives, becomes a spirit detective for Koenma, and that's pretty much where the story picks up and what have you. I won't go too much into any of the other arcs. The one thing I will mention is that if you can't stand the story, like the plot development, at least check out the Dark Tournament arc. It happens a little ways in. You can find it, like if you Google Dark Tournament, you can find the exact episodes. I can't remember the exact episode. I want to say it's like 40 or 50 in. I could be wrong. But at least give that arc a chance. It has some of the most fluid fight animations out there. The other thing that's really nice about the show is that let's go for like TV ratings now. Actually, let's hop into that since we haven't talked about it. You have probably a TV 14 rating for this show, just due to the fact that it does have like death and it has a lot of blood and it actually you actually see like characters dying and stuff like that. It's not implied. Like in most shows, they don't really say that somebody died; they imply it. As for like comedy in that, like I said, Yusuke is more childish, so he messes with Keiko by flipping her skirt and that. Obviously, we the viewers can't see anything. It's just something for her to slap him in comedy there, you know. Haha, he did something, got slapped for it, type deal. But that only happens like once or twice. You obviously there's nothing for us viewers to see, so it's not like there's any nudity or anything like that. It's pretty clean for something like this outside of like all the violence and demons dying and stuff like that, which I think is pretty cool. Um, yeah, it's got something for everybody though. It's got like love interest. It's got fighting. It's like Full Metal Panic. It's like those '90s animes, you know. A lot of them had all that stuff that viewers could get into. It has something for everybody, while still being really good. So yeah, like I said, I definitely recommend it. If you can't get through the first couple arcs, at least go to the Dark Tournament one and watch from there. I'm telling you, you'll probably be hooked from it. So yeah, that's this week's anime recommendation. I couldn't think of a better one. It's on its 25th anniversary. I'll see everybody tomorrow for some game. I don't know what we're gonna play quite yet. I'm still kind of working on a schedule. Next week's show might not be uploaded on Wednesday, so we might upload this a little late next week. It'll still go on the YouTubes, but I don't know. I'll have to figure out like what's happening, who's editing it. If I have to edit it, it won't be up until like probably Friday or Saturday. But if my co-host is editing it, it should be up on Wednesday like normal. He's looking into editing software, so hopefully he'll be doing these from now on. So yeah, I think that's everything for the week. I think I covered the show pretty well. I didn't want to try to spoil anything for you guys, so some of the explanation might be a little weird, but definitely check it out. You can watch it on Funimation. Like I said, I'd be giving you guys a lot of Funimation shows just so you guys, if you do decide that you want to pick up a show, you have some other options out there and whatnot. So yeah, I think that'll do it for the show. We'll see everybody here next Saturday for sure to do the show. So if you want to catch it live on Twitch, these bonus recommendations are only on the YouTube. So like I said, pending what happens,
It might be up Wednesday, and if it's not up Wednesday, be looking for it probably Friday or Saturday. And with that, for Archon TV What Show Episode 4, Archon Tanami here, signing out.